Hello, everyone. My name is Brendan Snyder. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of the CD and Vinyl Guys. And we're going to be discussing our favorite kabuki-wearing makeup superheroes, Kiss, on this one, and deconstructing their famed 1976 Destroyer album. Please welcome my co-host, Chris Propfe. How are you?
Good, Brendan. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for joining me on this. I know you're a huge Kiss fan, as everyone can see with all your Kiss gear that's behind you and everything. So thought it'd be great for us to pair up on this and deconstruct Destroyer here. Just want to give a quick little background on Kiss for people that are not as familiar, as certainly we are on this. They are from New York City and formed in '73, releasing their debut only 1 year later in '74, but of course broke big with Alive in '75, which is all pretty crazy that they did all of that within really a 2-year period. And then their follow-up album, the one we're going to talk about, Destroyer, came out in 1976, and the band mixing hit singles with fire-breathing, smoking guitars, levitating drums, pyro, just all those things I think really helped propel them to the top. And in all, they've released 20 studio albums, sold over 25 million copies in the US and 100 million copies around the world. And so for a lot of people, they don't realize Kiss is that big, but they are. They are a huge band worldwide and in terms of sales. So even though they never really had huge hit singles like Aerosmith and AC/DC, some of these other bigger bands like that, they certainly are a big band around. And so it's time to deconstruct Destroyer now. Fourth studio album came out in March of '76, and it's celebrating its 45th anniversary, which is part why we're doing this here. So first thing I want to talk about here is, do you think that the album, or what do you think is it about the album that made it break big for Kiss?
Well, you know what? I think it was a slow build for Kiss because you had the debut, then you had Hotter Than Hell, Dressed to Kill. They really weren't selling a lot of records, but the live show was really growing.
Right,
so
absolutely.
That fan base was starting to really just, take in anything that was Kiss. So even though the records weren't selling, that live show was growing. That's why when Alive came out, it was the perfect time because people were ready for that live show to be documented on record,
Right.
And after that, I think their fan base had grown so much that Kiss was on everybody's minds, and it was like, okay, what are they going to come out with next? So, bringing Bob Ezrin in, the production increased. It was sonically better. I think their fan base started to increase. You started to bring females in now with songs like Beth.
Right.
So I just think it was the right time with that slow build, bringing Bob Ezrin in. It was just everything, all the pieces came together.
Absolutely. I agree with you on that. And second, everything you're saying, and certainly about Bob Ezrin, bringing him in on this. Having worked with Alice Cooper before this, and just one of those kind of production engineers that pushes things over the top and elevates it. And I think he certainly did it for Kiss. So Kiss already had the big bombastic show, but they now needed the same in an album format. And so he introduced sound effects, orchestration, choir, screaming kids, reverse drums, all of these different things on the album, making the album, I think, as big as we know Kiss for, and that idea of what they are. So like you said, just right time, right everything with the focus on it, it led to it perfectly. But what I also want to, then think about with this and ask the question is, do you think that the album itself lives up to all the hype? Right? Everyone this is the best album. This is the, the big thing. Do you think it lives up to that?
I think for anybody first coming into Kiss, I think it does because it's everything that you want from Kiss. You get the comic book aspect, you get the songs, you get the big bombastic production. You get the orchestration, you have Beth, King of the Nighttime World. You've got everything that is Kiss.
What about the flow of the songs, though, start to finish on this thing? It's got the big hits, certainly on a Detroit Rock City, God of Thunder, Got It Out. You mentioned Beth, Do You Love Me? So 5 huge classics on this thing.
Right.
But for me, it just doesn't flow as well as I would like. There's other albums I like better than this. And so maybe if I was from the outside, like you're saying, first album coming in, perhaps it would. I always sort of question, though. I don't think it's their best album. I don't think it's their greatest album.
Well, I don't think it's their best album either. And I think you and I share the same favorite album with Love Gun. We both love Love Gun.
Yeah. You both love Love Gun.
We love Love Gun.
Right.
And it's funny, I was listening to this today. I was doing my homework, and this is the kind of homework I like, by the way.
Oh, yes.
Listening to this, and I'm like, why don't I listen to this record more? It's like you were saying, it's hit after hit after hit. The only thing I can think of is that it's sonically so different than their heavier records.
Right.
And even Rock and Roll Over that came out after this.
Yeah.
That's a heavier record.
It went back to the more raw sound on that. And you're pointing out that idea, why don't you listen to it more? I just wanted to point out, I bought this back in 97 and I've still never opened it, the remastered edition. And you asked me earlier, why'd I never opened it? And I did have a non-remastered copy at the time for years. I don't have it anymore, but I've just never felt the desire to open this. It isn't an album I return to a lot. I love the songs on it. I do. I put it on today and I really enjoyed it. But like you said, why don't I go back to it? And I think it's because it is a different sonic production level than their other albums.
Well, I think too, you have some different, like this. I like the song "Great Expectations," but it doesn't sound like a Kiss song though.
Yeah, that is the one that I actually don't like, which kind of leads into the next question here, which was, is there anything about the album you don't like? And I'll start with that, which is segueing to what you said. You love Great Expectations. For me, that's the song that makes me dislike this. It breaks the album. It doesn't sound like it should be there. And if that one wasn't on it, I think I would hold this album in a much higher place. But why is it that you're drawn to it? Is it the orchestration and the choir and all those other things?
I do. I like the orchestration. I like the choir. I know we both listen to a wide variety of music.
Right.
You know that I'm into jazz as well, and some Broadway show tunes and things like that. So when I hear bands experimenting with different sounds, sometimes it doesn't work, but I feel like in Great Expectations it does work. Mm-hmm. And I like the difference in sound in that song.
Yeah, for me, it just makes the album sound dated. Both the Great Expectations and Beth. And Beth is just so overplayed. It's on every compilation and you can't get away from it. And it's just one of those things that I've never liked it. Maybe if I was growing up in 1976 and I heard it at that time, I would enjoy it more. I came to it later in a fully orchestrated song without the rest of the band in it. It's a good song. Don't get me wrong. I like the song, but I just don't need to hear it just because it was their biggest hit. That went all the way to number 7 on the Billboard Hot 100, right? Highest charting hit. I just don't need it though. And I think that's part of what brings this album down for me, is that the overplay, and it's on every live album, every compilation and so forth. And I just find that I don't need to go back to this album as much, at least.
And maybe that's the reason I don't listen to it that often either. I mean, you look at the songs, Detroit Rock City played all the time.
Yeah.
God of Thunder played all the time.
Right.
Shout It Out Loud played all the time. Beth, Do You Love Me? I mean, they're great songs, but they're everywhere for Kiss. Right. You know what I mean?
I think if the band would mix up their live set and play other songs than just the same 15 every time, I'd probably feel different about it. But I hear them on live albums, compilations, everything else. So I want to move though over to the album art, which I think is such a big thing within this, right? You've got the vinyl there. But I wanted to also talk about this one, right? I don't know. So this is the 2012 oh, great. You've got it. Reconstructed. And it's got different album art. So both of these are Ken Kelly. This is the original album art, right? The record label rejected this because of the rubble that's in the background, like the buildings on fire, all the flames. They thought it was too violent. So they rejected it. And Ken Kelly went back in and did the one, Hold Up Your Vinyl one. It's also what's on our shirts, but right. So that's what he went back and he did. And that's what came out. And I think they finally achieved what they were attempting to, that transition from just being a bunch of guys in a band, the idea of that mere mortal sort of thing, into that superhero persona that they were trying to achieve the whole time. This album cover did that. And I think it's the album art on this, along with the music, the production and everything else, and what you mentioned, the right time. Everyone was primed for Kiss. Whatever they were going to put out was going to be big, and this did it. And the album art helped.
Yeah, I mean, and this time, Kiss, in 1976, Kiss could do no wrong. I mean, if you were a kid or a teenager in the 70s, I mean, you were listening to Kiss.
Right.
You wanted to be that superhero. That
Oh
Kiss
yeah. It filled everything.
Yeah.
Checked every box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They sort of represented everything, like you said, everything that people like kids are striving to be.
Right.
Yeah.
Something bigger than life, just
Bigger than life.
bombastic, great
Yeah.
music. I mean, it just rolled everything into one. And so now they're doing, as we said, this is the 45th anniversary. So there is a new deluxe edition box set that is coming out on November 19th. You guys can all put it on your calendar. 4 CD box set, 66-page hardcover book. It's got a tour program, various pieces of memorabilia in it, stickers, iron-on, trading cards, things like that. But 4 CDs, it's $200, right? So it really kind of comes down to $50 a CD. You're like us, and music is really the key thing. Yes, we love all the other stuff as well, but it's music. And the discs breakdown, you get disc 1, which is the album remastered. Disc 2 is demos. Disc 3 is outtakes, alternate versions, and single edits, and disc 4 is live. So again, kind of comes down to then those 3 discs. And for me, at least, I'm really only interested in the demos discs. And the reason being is it features 13 tracks that are not on a Kiss album. So you've got Don't You Hesitate, It's the Fire, Love Is All Right, Bad Bad Lovin', I Don't Want No Romance, Rock and Roll's Royce, full title, Mad Dog, Night Boy, Star, Howlin' for Your Love. And then there's 3 songs that later appeared on Gene Simmons' solo album. So not Kiss version, but Man of a Thousand Faces, Burning Up with Fever, and True Confessions. And just the fact that those 13 songs could have all appeared on Destroyer really, really intrigues me about what ended up on there versus what could have ended up on there. So it comes down to this one disc for me. It's all I'm really interested in. And I'm going to shell out $200 for this thing. So big question, do you think this box set is worth it, or do you just think it's a cash grab by the band?
I actually think it's worth it. And here's the reason. Like, I'm starting to get into these super deluxe versions. Like, I bought Black Sabbath Technical Ecstasy, the super deluxe. I bought Black Sabbath Sabotage, and I love them. Now, those were around, they were a little over $100.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the price for this could have come down a little bit.
I'm hoping that it does. It's early, and I'm hoping that this thing drops to about $150, but I don't know if we'll get there.
But something you didn't mention is you also get a Steven Wilson remix of the album on the Blu-ray.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I wasn't aware of that. I wish they were putting it on CD, though.
Yeah, but and Steven Wilson has been doing awesome remixes of like Yes Records, and he did Technical Ecstasy for Black Sabbath.
Which is really good.
And I don't know, I was looking at all those goodies that you get, the tour programs and the iron-ons. I mean, I'm a sucker for all that kind of stuff. So you have to sort of factor that into the price as well.
I agree. And that's where I am with this. I definitely like all the extras that it's coming with. I'm a sucker for tour books. And the fact that they put a tour book into this is also, it's like, fine. I want those 13 tracks more than anything.
Yeah.
$200, I'm going to have to pay $200 to get it. Fortunately, it's coming out when I'm an adult. I've got a good job and I can afford to do it. If I was a 15-year-old kid, this wouldn't be something that you could get. And I think they know that, though. I do think the price of this could be lower. They're finally at least putting out the demos and things of that nature on it that have sat in vaults for so long. I mean, I've had a bootleg of these 1975 demos that's really quite good quality, and it might be the same as what quality we're going to get on these, but at least this gathers it all together. It's an official release. They're individually sleeved inside the box, so you do get one that is specific to that. I can pull that out and live with that. And like you said, I'm really getting into these deluxe things and do think that they're worth it. So there you go. That's Destroyer Deconstructed, at least.
I'll put it on my Christmas list, and maybe Santa will bring it to me.
Right. Yeah. I think a lot of people will be doing that.
I'll let Santa shell out the $200 for it.
That would be the best way, right?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so everyone, don't forget to head on over to Chris's channel and check out what he's doing over there. I'm going to leave a link in the description to his channel. And certainly if you've enjoyed this, please comment, like, and subscribe. We've done some others. We've done about 10 of these now, and there is a playlist that gathers together all the CD and Final Guide episodes. If you want, I'll leave a link to that too in the description. You can check all those out. All right, everyone, have a great day. Take care, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye, guys.
Bye.